Didactis of Mathematics. Good practices in the teaching of mathematics in Latin America. Writing by Pedro Guerrero, Lorenzo Maecha, Maria Cristina Angulo, and Lina Hernandez. Good practices in the teaching of mathematics. Colombia. In a country like Colombia, in the particular field of mathematics, it is accepted the importance that this has for the performance of citizens in today's world. The educational traditional assets that this discipline is one of the greatest contributions to perpetuate the inequality and the segregation, since his practitioners has a very negative image and his usefulness is considered by some social sectors as difficult, useless, and little understood. In order to change this situation, since 1978, programs and curriculum proposal has been formulated with the leadership of the Ministry of Education, such as the Curriculum Guidelines of Mathematics created in 1998 and the Basic Standards of Competence of Mathematics created in 2006, in order to make the experience of mathematics more useful, accessible, necessary, and interesting tool for all students. Since the creation of the National Systems of Quality Evaluation in 1991, several tests have been applied in the country to students of different grades or basic and secondary education. By the middle of 2004, the application of evaluation tests to the graduates or students of the last semesters of the bachelor degrees, and more recently begins 2010 with the application of the professional performance test. Both the higher education law and the general education law define the basis for transformation in the training of teachers. The development of these laws define the quality criteria of the higher educational programs. As for teachers training programs, decrees are issued that regulate the teacher training. Among these are Decree 0709 of 1998, Decree 3076 of 1997, Decree 272 of 1998, Resolution 1036 of 2004, and Resolution 5433 of 2010. Good practices in the teaching of mathematics. Mexico. In Mexico, the teachers perform an assessment to measure their knowledge. The results indicate that there are teachers with low scores in mathematics. The Mexican Mathematical Society and the Mexican Academy of Science have started working on improving the teacher mathematics knowledge through a program called Science in Your School. This program was chosen by the Directorate General of Continuing Education in order to integrate the offer of training courses for primary and secondary teachers to improve teaching practices in mathematics. The teaching improved the effectiveness of the approaches by changing their educational practices. They should carefully consider the context in which they teach and especially the type of students they teach. Also, they look for alternative methods to the traditional teaching to arouse the interest of children and young people through greater interaction with teachers and involvement in experience direct and simple practices to foster greater curiosity and learning in a dynamic way. On the other hand, the use of inquiry methodology encourages the active and creative participation of teachers, students, and aims to provide a tool for the better development, both in the school environment and in daily life. The model focuses on achieving truly meaningful and lasting learning in students. Good practices in the teaching of mathematics. Brazil. Since their origins in the century 16, the mathematics education in Brazil has made several improvements to promote scientific knowledge among his students. Starting with the military academy in 1812, when the first civilian engineers and mathematics professionals attended classes based on the European mathematics curriculum, and until today, where students from all Brazil participate in the Brazilian Mathematics Olympiad annually. In 1960, after the huge success got from the science fair held in Rio de Janeiro, and a group of mathematics teachers came up with the idea of creating the first mathematics fair. The main goal of this event was to encourage students to create projects and work on them continuously. So, with this idea in mind, in 1984, the first mathematics fair was created as a program to motivate study and investigation, allowing teachers in the scholar period. In 1959, the first International Mathematics Olympiad was held in Romania. Since then, the boom of mathematics was spread in Europe and part of Latin America. In Brazil, the Brazilian Mathematics Society decided to organize the first Mathematics Olympiad in response to the increasing necessity to foster the students' involvement in mathematics and better skilled teachers. In conclusion, these two programs have been one of the most remarkable breakthroughs in the field of education for more than 3 decades in Brazil, and its potential proposes to lead the next decades in the new century. To promote the investigation and love for mathematics during the scholar period as a tool for personal development among students is the core of these programs. Good practice in the teaching of mathematics. Argentina. One of the pilot programs in Argentina was the Scientific Literacy Program, PAC, which provides knowledge through guide experiments by giving the teacher a more prominent role. This model is based on the natural proclivity of children to play, linking content education with rules of games such as lottery and bingo, card games, squares of addition and multiplication, and counting of money. It can be concluded that this model applied to levels of primary educational in Argentina show great results in the tests applied during this process because the students had the capacity to explain their reasoning, to detect fallacies, and to criticize the thinking of others. The PAC emphasis on the teacher has the potential of producing highly involved educators and students, but realizing that potential requires solid pedagogical fundamentals and more rigorous initial training for teachers. Thank you.